My name is Janina Vecini Saivene, and I am presenting the work MetaDocencia, Teaching How to Teach Technology Together. MetaDocencia is a community of Spanish-speaking educators. We teach concrete, evidence-based, and student-centered educational methods. We collaboratively develop open, reusable, and accessible resources to foster effective training practices. Since March 2020, we reach more than 2,000 teachers for 30 countries. We deliver more than 70 timer workshops, and we see a high level of engagement. Over 95% of the attended stay until the end of the workshop and fill the post-workshop survey, expressing high satisfaction. Our Net Promoter Score is 88%. All MetaDocencia courses and material are free and licensed under a Creative Commons by Share Alike license. We have a Slack with more than 600 members and presence on several social media. Today we are going to share some of our rules when you have to build a lesson and you have to teach. So our first rule is that you have to figure it out who you are teaching before you can start to build a lesson. And for that, we are going to invite you to think on 3 different kinds of learners. You have novices. They still don't have a mental model of the topic you are going to teach. They don't have a lot of connection between concepts. Then you have competent practitioners. They have more connections, but it can take them several steps to get from what they know to what they need. And then you have experts. They have many more connections, so their path is shorter. So short, in fact, that they can often jump from start to finish in a single step. This also will lead to the spur blind spot. They can't explain their reasoning because there isn't any. This difference means that different teaching strategies work best for different learners. Novices need to be guided. The teacher has to decide what they need to learn next. Competent practitioners need to be mentored. They can make a lot of progress on their own, and the teacher role is to help them to get unstuck or to help them to pick the next problem. And if someone is an expert, the most effective strategy is to help them to reflect on their own work. Our second rule is that everything we know about building user interfaces apply directly to build lessons. We need multiple explanations because we have multiple learners. We can capture these differences by creating learner personas with these 4 features: their general background, their relevant experience, their perceived needs, why their need, not why we think their need, and their special considerations. For example, accessibility needs. Anyone who teaches or any group that teach together should create a handful of these that describe the range of learners they are trying to help. Personas will remind you one of the most important rules of teaching. You are not your learners. Our next rule is that we use formative assessment as unit tests during learning. We need to check for learning as we are teaching. This formative assessment has to be quick and has to have diagnostic power. They tell the instructor where they can move on or not, and if not, why not? What part of the lesson needs to explain again? And they give learners a way to check that they actually understand something, because it is easy to believe you do until you try to use your knowledge. The other rule is to manage the cognitive load. We need to avoid overloading the learner. We have a limit in our short-term memory. We can handle more than 7 ± 2 concepts in 15 minutes. So this limit in our short-term memory can tell us when we are trying to teach too much, too quickly. Part of the craft of designing a lesson is to break it into chunks, guided by the formative assessment that we can do. Other way to handle and manage the cognitive load is to try to teach what's in at the time. So for example, balanced bike, like the one you are seeing in the slide, help you to learn faster because you focus on balance and maneuvering, but you don't need to learn how to pedal at the same time. We can do exactly the same when we teach how to code. The other thing that is important to know is the active learning beats passive learning. In this slide, you have different strategies. For example, read about something, watch a video, attend a lecture, or hear something explained are strategies about learn now, use later. Those strategies on the right, for example, try it out, do exercise, discuss a topic, try to explain it, are strategies of use while learning. And the latter always beat the former, even when sometimes students say that they prefer passive learning. This rule shouldn't be necessary to say, but learners are people with feelings and beliefs. And this has a lot to do with motivation. The single stronger predictor of whether an adult learns something or not is their motivation. And any discussion about motivation has to start with difference between intrinsic and intrinsic motivation. Learning how to play the ukulele because you are always wanted to learn, it is intrinsic. Learning because you are in first grade and the teacher says that you have to learn is extrinsic and unlikely to stick. When we are going to motivate our student, we can do it in a positive and also in a negative way. So the three most important positive way of motivation are self-efficacy, our students are in control of their life, utility, what they are learning is useful for them, they are going to help them to achieve their goal, and community. They are learning with people they know, their neighbor, their classmate, people they care about are learning with them. And the negative part of motivation, it is unpredictability. Whatever you do, the outcome is always different. Unfairness, the teacher has favorites. And indifference, no one's cares if I achieve something or not. We can talk a lot of more things to make our lesson, our student comfortable and to learn. If you want to learn more, please get engaged with our community, take our course, being part, join to MetaDocencia. On the slide, you have our contact information. We are at MetaDocencia in every of these social media. And we think that the most important distinction on the future is not online versus in person. It is actually interactive versus scripted. We all go to a class where the teacher, even in person, only spoke during 3 hours, and when you finish the class, you go away and you don't remember almost anything. So the interaction is going to be the most important part of education. Again, if you want to learn more, please join our community and take our courses. All our activities were possible thanks to all the time and dedication of our team of volunteers, as well as the grants from our sponsor. In this link, you can find more information about MetaDocencia and how to join the community and stay in touch. Thank you for your attention, for reaching here. Me and my teammates are here to listen and try to answer your questions. Thank you so much.